Hello, it's another day of teleprinter goodness. We've got a little helper today, and so Mike and I are gonna crack on with things. So we've got all the parts for the power supply now. So Mike is going to work on putting that together, and while he does that, I'm going to have a look at how we kind of talk to the printer, and we can. I'll write some code to drive the ESP so that we can maybe get it to kind of do some stuff. I've got a ribbon in the intervening time since the last video, so we will run with that and keep you updated. Well, Mike has been getting the power supply all kind of up and assembled, and so I guess we can kind of run through briefly. I don't know if you want to walk through what it is. It's not, although there is a lead plugged into it at the moment, it's not plugged in at the other end, so at the minute it's safe to use, or safe to point at.
So main thing is a big toroidal transformer. Unfortunately we couldn't get a small toroidal transformer with the voltages we need. These are normally designed for power amplifiers. So this is going to give us 80 volts DC output, 80 volts AC output. This is fed into a bridge rectifier, again massively overspecified. This will take it down to DC, and a bank of capacitors, 250 volt capacitors, to give us a bit of headroom on the power supply. We should be getting about 110 to 115 volts DC out of this, unregulated. We then take that to a distribution block so that we can have multiple outputs, because this is a 250 VA transformer. It'll literally power 5 teletypes. So we've made the box big enough so that if we want to, we can actually put in more connections for the museum or whoever wants to use it. And we're just about ready to literally plug it in and switch it on and see whether we get any magic smoke.
Yeah, so you'll all be hoping for some sort of amazing kind of theatrics now, but we're hoping for nothing very much to happen. So I guess maybe I could call upon our intrepid visitor from the Fens, Michael, to plug it in, and we will.
You're in.
Okay. Power switch on. Red light on that, which is good, and
nothing bang.
Nasty from the other stuff. So just check on the monitor. We're getting 126.8
volts.
0.8 volts out of it.
But that's no load.
With no load, yes.
So
good
because
point.
It's unregulated, it will dip as we start loading it up with a decent load. Because the teletype itself is rated at 30 watts, but it's realistically 40 to 50 watts with the current loading, because the age and things like that. Right,
okay.
And we've got separate individual fuses for each output, and that's we found an odd connector on purpose so that this will fit onto the lead coming from the teletype. Because we're using 110 volts DC, we don't want anyone plugging something in accidentally. So we've picked a non-standard connector on purpose.
Defining a new standard for 110 volt DC power.
So these are again massively overspecified connections, but because of the waterproof, and this is going nowhere near any water, yes. Hopefully. But it's a good way of allowing us to give a bit of flexibility.
Yeah, great. So well, that's successful so far, and the next bit I suppose is going to be boxing things up and starting to work out the wiring to get to a point so that we can run the power into it.
Put that onto the teletype and see if it powers the teletype.
Yeah, indeed. Excellent. And now we have the motor cable wired into this kind of nice funky plug that we bought for it, and we're going to see if it works when we power it all up. So
that's a test. So Power
so that's
on there.
power supply on. There we go. It works. Yeah. I'm not sure why the transmitter has stopped working, so I need to look into that, because the sender end doesn't seem to be running at the moment for some reason, but it's running a little bit fast, is it? 120.
Well, the regulator should.
Yeah, the kind of governor.
Yeah. That's 126.
Yeah. And of course I can't flip the solenoid back and forth quickly enough to do that, but yeah, we have a power light so that you can tell really easily on the video, yeah, with to show when it's powered up. And then we can turn it off. Excellent. So that's what Mike's been up to today, and what I've been up to at the same time is writing some software. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see all of this, but it's a load of Arduino code. There are a big table at the start which has got all of the 128 ASCII codes in it, and then where they map onto things that are available on the teleprinter, it's got the Bordeaux code as a bit pattern, and then whether it's the figures or the letters that it needs to be in that kind of mode to be able to print it. And then there is some code that will send that and sends the space at the start with the start bit, and then pauses, and then works through the bit mask, the bit pattern, kind of sending the marks and spaces out, and then yeah, works out whether it's a code. You know, if it's a key that can't be typed on the teleprinter, it ignores it. And then at the start, at the moment, it sends hello world, and after that drops into a loop and basically reads in from the serial monitor. So if I start up the serial monitor, and we can see, I'm not sure what it's sending at the moment. Maybe if I reboot the, so this isn't connected up, as you can see, this is just running on this ESP8266, and so if I reboot that, we'll see it's starting to type hello world, and it's flashing the marks and spaces. So every time there's a mark, the built-in LED lights up, and it prints out the pattern. So you get the space is the start bit, and then you get space, space, mark, space, mark, and then the mark at the end is the stop bit, which is a bit and a half. And so that's the code for H, and so that all seems to be working okay. And if I type I don't know, hello YouTube viewers, I don't know why I'm doing all this in mixed cases and things. So you can see on the top on the serial monitor, I type that in, and if I then hit send, you're probably not going to be able to. I need a longer cable on my Arduino so that you can actually see the screen and what the cable's doing. If I hit the send button, we should see it start to flash that pattern out, and you know, it switches modes when it needs to go back into letters mode to be able to send yeah, hello YouTube viewers. So yeah, reasonable amount of progress on that as well, and that's going to be the probably a wrap for today.
Well, the reason why the keyboard wasn't working, no DC power supply fed into the communications cable.
Ah.
Need the plus or minus voltage for the
Yeah, but I would still expect it to just run through the cycle. It wouldn't have sent it anywhere, the keyboard, but it should still have been, you know,
to press it.
like when you press the key, it should have, the mechanics should have all run through. So we need to work out, why the keyboard isn't sending anything at the moment. I'm sure it'll be something simple we've overlooked. Yeah, next step is going to be to wire up some circuitry so that we can feed the signal out of the Arduino and get it to toggle the data going into the teleprinter. And I guess the other thing would also be the loop back, like we tried last time with the teleprinter once we got the keyboard working. So yeah, some decent progress, and we'll see you next time.